Hey there, and welcome to this session. Solving tactics on chesstempo.com with the Advocate. This session is 1700 to 1800 mixed. Mixed means we get defensive problems, and 1700 to 1800 means that, well, it's 1700 to 1800. So I feel like rook d6 could be a move here. Rook d6 threatening queen a8. Checkmate. Rook d6 if pawn takes, queen check is mate. Rook d6, bishop d5, queen takes d5. Rook d6, queen h6 check, queen takes h6, rook takes d7. Rook d6, c6, queen takes is mate. Rook d6, bishop d5, queen takes d5, not rook takes d5. Maintaining. So after rook d6, I don't see any good moves for black. There's no checks, there's no, what's even the word, blocking in position. So how does he stave off mate? Just queen h6 check, giving up the queen and getting the knight here. So after rook here, queen check, rook takes, rook takes. I can play rook takes h7, which would threaten rook h8. Or no, I can just play queen a8 checkmate. Yeah. So he can't actually even take that. He would need to take with the king. So queen check, rook d6, queen check, rook takes, king takes, d7, queen check, king e7. Queen check again, maybe. King d7, queen takes f7 check, and just, oh wait, no, the bishop's covering that square. Rook d6, queen check, rook takes, king takes, queen check, king c8, and just maybe rook takes h7. Nice. That was nice. Maybe I'm finally getting back into the rhythm of things. Rook c2. Mistake made in this position. Rook c2. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Rook c2, queen check, and then bishop moves away. Or rook takes here. No, rook can't take because of queen a8, checkmate. So just bishop moves away, and if queen check, king takes. Wow. So if I take here, g2, unstoppable. So I should play knight g2, knight a7, knight e3. What about knight d5, g2, knight check? Knight g2, king h2, knight takes h4. Knight a7. There's no way to really deflect this knight. Knight g2 seems okay. Knight d5 also seems okay. Knight d5, king h2. Ooh, knight d5, king h2. Knight f4, h3. So yeah, maybe knight d5 not good. I need to play knight g2 to stop him from doing anything. Because if he moves any of his pawns, if he moves this pawn, I take it. If he moves his king, knight here, f4, takes, check, king h2. Knight here, f4, knight takes, check, king h2. Then knight e2. But then g2. Knight here, f4. Knight takes f4. Check. King h2. I don't seem to be holding there. Knight here, f4. I can't move my king anywhere. And after check, king h2. I can't stop these pawns. Knight g2, f4, knight takes check, king h2, knight e2. That way if h3 takes, g2, king f2. h2, h3, I'm sorry, knight g1. And now the king can't get out. Okay, the king can never get out, and my knight will always protect. But what about knight g2, king check? Knight g2, knight check, and then my king can't cover the pawn anymore. Knight g2, knight check, king e, knight check, king d, knight runs away, a7, king takes g2, a8 queens, h3. Okay, so I figured out that after f4, I am safe. But am I safe after knight d4 check? Knight d4 check, king e3. If the knight goes back, I'm going to go back to f3. So the only way for black to continue to try to make progress is to take on g2 or to give another check. If he gives another check, it's the same as if he took on g2. So let's say he takes on g2, a7, h3, a8 queens, h2, then I'll have queen a2 check, queen a2 check, queen f. I would have like queen e2 check, with perpetual, or picking up these pawns with check. Okay, I actually think knight g2 is the move. Okay, so now here, he runs back, I go back to f3. There we go. And I did consider both of those lines. I considered what happened if he tries to make progress with king takes g2, and I also considered what would happen if the knight goes back. It's just too dangerous to allow him to continue. 1 second, I'm just gonna pause this really quick. I'll put another problem up and then pause the recording. I've been recording this problem without without having turned my recording back on. Very stupid. But that's okay because I have no idea what to do here. So I was thinking rook takes g2 check, king h1, and then f3. Queen takes d5. Rook takes h2 check. King g1. Rook g8 check. Queen takes g8. King takes g8. And I'm down a rook. Rook check. No, there's no other way to work that, really. So f3 doesn't work. So if I change it, rook check, king here, rook double check, king takes, f3 revealed check. The problem with that line is he even has rook takes e5, queen takes e5, check. Let's say king h3. If rook check, king h1, queen takes b7, pawn takes b7, rook takes d2, rook takes e5, rook b2, rook takes c5, rook takes b7. I have won a pawn. But not for long. I feel like there's some knockout blow here, but I'm just not seeing it. What about rook takes g2, king h1, rook g1 double check. King takes g1, rook g1 check, rook g8 check rather, king f2, rook g2 check, mate. Rook check, king h1, rook double check, king g1 forced, rook g8 check, king f2 forced, rook g2 check, mate. Yeah. That took me quite a while. But once I started seeing how forced that line was, it really helps you see it. Because the problem with the whole Rook H2 line is that there's so much to calculate. I wonder if this is considered an alternate. No. Yeah, and after F3, Rook takes, Queen takes check. I just wasn't convinced. King H3, Queen check, King G3, Rook check, King F2, check, check. This is checkmate. Wait, no. He has the queen there, so I would need to give this check. This does lead to mate. There must be some better defense. After King H2, there must be some better defense. The immediate King H3, Queen check, King H4, Bishop check, I totally saw this line and I saw that I was going to get a lot of play here. But I couldn't calculate anything really forced. And this is like 9 moves deep. Okay. So this is not a real promotion threat. I'm covering F8. But if here, then I won't be covering F8. I think I should just take on F1. Knight takes F1, promotes, Queen takes. Now he needs to solve the Queen issue and the Knight issue. So let's say he plays Queen H4. And then I just bail with the Knight. So Knight takes, promotes, Queen takes, Knight takes. Let's say he doesn't promote. He just immediately plays Queen G4. Then I would have Queen H2 checkmate. So yeah, he does need to play F8 to deflect my queen. So Knight here promotes, Queen takes, because otherwise I'll play, if he doesn't, if he doesn't promote, I'm going to play Bishop takes D4, deflecting the queen from the defense of H2. So Knight takes, promotes, Queen takes. Ooh, and then knight e6, check. Knight takes, promotes, queen takes, knight e6, check. King e7, knight takes queen, bishop takes queen. I could also play king c7, but king c7 would allow queen g3 check. No, I don't have, I have this square, but that would allow queen h3 check. So yeah, knight e7. But then queen e1 check. So knight takes, promotes, queen takes, queen check, knight here, king here. And he doesn't actually have queen e1. So if he moves away queen e1, I can play queen h8 check. He will play, let's say, like king g2. I can play queen h2 check. He takes here, I check, moves away, and I take the queen. That's the queen e1 line. So take, if I just take here now, he promotes, I take, he takes check, I play king c7, he takes, I take, and that's two pieces against two pieces. So knight takes f1, promotes, queen takes f8, knight e6 check, king e7, queen takes f6 check, king takes f6, knight takes f8, rook takes f8, bishop takes f1, and I'm up the exchange. Am I? Knight here, promotes here, knight check, king here. Wait, and if queen takes check, I take with the queen. So he needs to take my queen, then I take his queen. And now I'm threatening knight g3 check, as well as the knight on f8. So he takes, I take on f8. And I'm a full rook up. Okay, so take here, promotes to knight. Does it make a difference? Promotes to rook. Okay, I'm going to take it. King e7. Takes here. Yep, and now I'm the full rook up. Threatening knight g3, threatening rook f8. So bishop takes rook f8. Oh, wait, but he has knight g6 check. Knight g6 check, king d8, knight takes h4, and then Knight d4, threatening c4. Takes. Knight check. So maybe that's not the best square. Maybe this is a better square than here, here, here. This is better. Bishop here, rook here. For example. Next one. Let's just do one more, or one or two more. Okay. King g2, rook takes f2, king takes f2, king takes a3, king g2, a7, f4, a8 queens. a2, a2, rook a2, king b3. Rook e3, a7, rook e8, b6, king g2. Rook takes f2, king takes f2, b7. No. Yeah, b7. King g2, b8 or a8 queens. So the best thing, I guess, is just to allow the perpetual rook a2, king b3, rook a5, king b4. Just one more. White to move. Rook g2. Rook g2. Bishop g7. Queen g5. e4. So how do I keep him from playing e4? Another option is rook g2, bishop g7, rook takes g7, king g7, queen g5 check, king h7, queen check, king g8, queen check, king h8, queen check, perpetual. Because there's no way to stop e5 and covering. So rook g2, bishop g7, let's say rook g4, queen a1 check, rook g2, e4. and I'm just down a piece. So the best thing is just to take the perpetual. Boris Spassky versus Mikhail Tal. Tal with the black pieces. Yeah, I was thinking of somehow trying to block, like stop the queen, but first of all, e5 can be played here, defending, but also queen check, rook back, queen here, and now rook g4 hasn't accomplished anything, and if you play the queen in, or if you want to get fancy and play the queen here, takes king here, takes the queen. But if you want to play for this, e5 is still on the cards. Rook c5 coming. So yeah, I decided not to go for this. Yep. Okay, good session. That's it for this session. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you learned as much as I did. You'll see how big of a rating hit I've taken just from being sick. But today I've done 3 sessions or 2 sessions or something like that since I was sick. And this is the first one where I sort of felt in the zone again, which I'm very happy about. When I'm feeling bad, when my chest is bad, my whole life feels just horrible, honestly. So I'm glad to sort of like have my self-worth again. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time. Until then, good luck with your chess journey, and I wish you the best. Goodbye.